Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HBCU GamerFest National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. Bordy McBoard, Chandler here, and after 7 weeks of play, 1 week of playoffs, today we get to see and determine who is walking away with either $1,000 and hey, that's pretty good. A consolation prize of $500 as we see the best of HBCU action. Chandler, I know I'm excited because we're going to see the best of some 2K and also Madden play.
That's right. And after 7 weeks of league play, it's been a non-stop, just a round robin. And it's been just going so crazy. And now we're finally here at the finals, trying to see who is going to be determined the best player in Madden and in 2K.
Which is crazy because it's been a long set of weeks. And of course, all of these gamers have been earning cash prizes throughout this time. But there is a pretty big jump in play and also pay, especially too. We're coming from, modest amount of money, $100 here or there throughout the whole entire season to an actual large set of money with the $1,000 and $500. But of course, we need to see how we got here and how we started this journey from all these 7 weeks ago to now. Well, actually 8 weeks ago up until now. So we're about to load up the bracket here and figure out what happened and how this worked out. And as you see, Chandler, here is the PS5 NBA bracket.
Yeah, and this is 2K, and as you see, some of these games were pretty decidedly in one direction, but now that we got both of Saya and Bread for President in the finals, you see how they dominated both of their, respective, rounds, and each game has been easy for them for the most part. Yeah. But now we see that they're going to be going up against each other, and we're going to see who is actually the best in 2K on the PS5.
Yes, Brett for Press representing Morehouse College and Sia representing NSU. And it's so interesting because Press dropped 70 on their opponent. That is almost a 30-point, darn near close to 40-point victory. Some familiar faces, of course, if you've been following HBCU The Yard for a while. Killer Cam, of course, and also Deb the Dude as well. But unfortunately, they fell in the first bracket. It was King Long in the bottom set of the bracket who had a little bit of a close game. It seemed like that game was pretty close. And Sia versus Jay Goat. I'm not sure how that happened. 16-4. That was a defensive play and show off for real. But now we're going and we're starting fresh. Both of these games, as you said, decided handily, and now we get to see what these gamers, Bread for Prez and Sia, are up to.
Yes, and well, as you could tell, it seems like that Bread for Prez is, probably the number one, as you see, as an undefeated record so far, but it could be anybody's game,
Oh, absolutely. And even though Sia has dropped 2, Bread hasn't dropped any, and that's why they're the top earners and probably going to they have the potential, of course, to make sure that they're multiplying their earnings times 10. We'll see if they actually do it, though, because Sia also in second place as well. Sometimes in a tournament structure, you never know if the person at some of the bottom, or some of the middle might actually come up and have a couple games that go their way. But this time, at least for the NBA 2K side, for the PlayStation side, it seems that Bread for Prez and Sia were at the top, and now we get to see and determine which of these top dogs are actually going to be the top of the bracket. As you see right here, Bread for Prez representing Morehouse College and Sia for Norfolk State. Again, the winner, $1,000. Second place, $500. So not a bad consolation prize. And honestly, Chandler, in college, any of this amount of money would have been good money. Okay.
Right, you said it because they got to the finals, and that's already enough money for me. At least I would be okay with that. But now that you got to the finals, there's going to be even more incentive to win at this point.
Well, we'll see who comes in and who loads in. And now we are seeing who is going to be who as we load in to our game to find out who is going to win for the PlayStation side of NBA 2K. And getting the names confirmed right now, the Phoenix Suns are going to be loaded up by Bread for Prez, and the Boston Celtics are going to be run by Sia. And honestly, if we're talking about two teams that are really good in 2K, I'm not surprised that either of these squads were chosen.
Yeah, you usually see both the Suns and the Celtics whenever you're playing like online. So of course you're gonna see them represented in this tournament, especially the finals. And at this point, it all comes down to who's actually good with these teams and in the at the game in general.
Yeah, and of course, the Suns, especially after the trade, they got Kevin Durant, and honestly, especially in 2K, the best players tend to do the best, right? And let me give you a little bit of tidbit too. Of course, we're watching the NBA playoffs. These stats from a couple days ago. However, still have to share it because they were amazing. These is, of course, a couple of days ago. 600 points for Booker and Devin in the playoffs, 590 for the Bucks, 570 for the Clippers, 520 for the Timberwolves, and all of these other playoff teams. Booker and Durant, yeah, they were scoring more than them.
And I mean, like you said, it kind of doesn't really matter too much about who else is on the court with them. All you have to really do is know how to utilize KD and Booker, and that's basically a cheat code to beating any team.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially too, you look at their shot ratings in 2K, all A pluses. So that's something that's definitely going to be a factor. But of course, you need to know how to utilize them too. And right here, a miss initially, but then a dunk to start it off.
And yeah, we didn't even talk about Aiton, especially in the game at 2K. You need to have a center that is just able to get rebounds and go to work down low.
Oh, absolutely. Because rebounds are just as important. I mean, we've seen, honestly, throwing it back a little bit to the first round when the Warriors were playing, those offensive rebounds by Kevin Looney, super important. But you don't need rebounds if you're pure underneath the bucket. That's what happened. Good job getting CP3 down low.
And even with the taller player with Robert Williams on him, Chris Paul can finish inside at down low at the basket, even though he's like 6 feet tall, listed. But it's still a great strategy to get close to the basket with any player.
Yeah, no, Robert Williams is the Time Lord for a reason. He can swat away so many different plays, but of course, CP3, Hall of Famer, amazing player, especially that layup package can get it done. So much so that Sia is actually going to go ahead and make some adjustments. Of course, we usually see that earlier on in the game. Sometimes you need to feel out your opponent and make those adjustments immediately. And right now, they try to make an adjustment underneath the rim, but no cigar on the bucket.
Yeah, and as you see, he's still kind of going to the same strategy, except you see Aiden attempt a three, which you rarely ever see. But even then, he's still got an open shot, and he's making it hard on defense.
Yeah, making it hard and then making it hard on themselves right here too. CP3 runaway layup. It looks like they wanted to go ahead and adjust their settings again, deciding to rock with it. But I would have taken advantage of that fast break opportunity that they had before, because right now the Suns, they're fast breaking all over the place.
Yeah, and you see it's CP3 again getting the steal and going all the way down at the other end for a layup, and it's just like he can't even get any like passes off, and there's another steal.
Oh, clearly he's playing the passing lane, so your game has to be smarter than that, or else Kevin Durant will show you what smart is.
Yeah, and as you see, it's just seeming like anything that he's trying to do strategy wise on defense is not making up for these turnovers that he's committing on offense.
Somebody call a bakery. The turnovers are on and popping, and the layup game also there as well. We're going to go with a timeout here, and honestly, smart for Sia, especially to these cross court passes, doesn't seem like the move.
Yeah, and of course, we saw at the beginning a lot of, changes to see how they're going to defend this team. And like you said, these cross court passes are just not going to be the right strategy, especially when you get this hounding defense that he's setting up so far.
Well, that cross court pass did end up getting off. It looked like it was a good shot, but late timing. We talked a little bit about how hard the shot timing is in this next 2K, but you don't need to worry about shot timing on a dunk.
Yeah, and it seems like most of his baskets have been a dunk or something right at the basket. And like you said, you don't need the shot meter for any of those.
Yeah, definitely going to have to sure up down low. That's a good opportunity, but unfortunately, can't get it done. Time Lord there missing the point blank layup, and it looks like the Phoenix Suns were trying to punish him for it, but good job.
Yeah, and you see, you get the wide open three in transition. He just has to make these shots because he's been getting open looks when he's not turning the ball over, but it's just not able to go down.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate too. Good transition defense by the Suns. Not the same I can say for Sia right here because unfortunately they haven't had to worry about what's happening down low. These outside shots have not been falling, and down low, they've been running a havoc. You don't even need to go to the outside game of the Suns, which is really good, by the way. All you need to do is just keep on pounding it down low because there's barely any opposition.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, that's the opposite for like these outside shots. He's letting them have it because, as you see, the shot meter has been non-existent so far when it comes to helping to get these open shots.
Yeah, and it's already unfortunate too when you're already cold from deep, and then one of your best 3-point players in Marcus Smart is also cold. Outside game, not from the 3-point line, but still outside, unable to knock it down, and it's just been constant late or early time shots for the Celtics.
Yeah, and as you see right now, we're finally getting the first free throws of the game. He's been going at the basket every time, and he's this is the only. I guess you can't even really count it as a stop because he made both free throws.
And what's so unfortunate too is that they keep on getting open ones. I mean, their recovery defense was actually pretty good for KD. Was able to actually cover that pretty well, but it's just been the timing on these shots that's been unfortunate. You would hope that Time Lord would be able to at least stop them inside. They did then, but there's going to have to be a lot more that they need to fix in order to prevent this onslaught. 18-0, scoreless in the first half is Sia.
Yeah, and like you were saying before, at this point, you kind of have to switch up how you are playing, especially when one player has gone cold, because I've noticed that he's really been using Marcus Smart as like the initiator on offense to do everything through, when you could get it to Tatum or Brown or maybe get a layup like right there.
Yeah, no, and of course too, these passes necessarily aren't working. Maybe driving on the inside with either of these players would work. But talking about an inside game, that's where the Suns have been getting it from. This time, a little outside game. Very rare, but I guess they haven't needed to go to that shot really ever, honestly, in this game.
Yeah, and you see another steal to a fast break dunk. And it's like, at this point, you gotta just, I don't know, maybe get some more handoffs or something, because these passes are just wild.
These passes have been wild. Handouts, dribble handoffs make sense. And also, too, maybe penetrating down low with one player. I mean, it looked like Tatum Brown had an opportunity there to drive inside. That didn't happen. Tatum wide open a little bit right there. Driving inside with Al Horford, not ideal. But hey, guess what? Happy surprises. They end up getting it right there off the spin.
Yeah, and you saw it as he was trying to get anybody to get anything going. The swarming defense didn't allow him to do anything, and he had an opportunity right there with Tatum to go up with it, but he just seems hesitant.
And then had an opportunity with Brown right there off the fast break. He could still drive it inside. Horford there, you would hope after making that shot would feel himself a little bit to get that shot down. But unfortunately, again, late timing right there. Rare miss for the Phoenix Suns down low. But of course, it's Kevin Durant, especially two under two munchkins right next to them. That's barbecue chicken, baby.
And it didn't matter how well the defense was on that possession because he was getting it anyway. And look, you see CP3 back to Ayton for another dunk.
They are grilling them down low. I mean, I know that we're close to the summertime, but gosh darn it, the Suns are cooking them each and every way. This is a cookout right here. I hope you brought your shades, and I hope you're bringing something to the table, Chandler.
Oh, I'm first of all, I'm definitely bringing my shades, and second of all, I'm definitely gonna bring something. It might be some what'd you say? Some barbecue chicken. Well, I might have to bring some napkins.
Yeah, because they are saucing it on them as well. As you see right here, Tatum, desperation shot right there. Probably one of the better looks that they've had in this game. And it's unfortunate because it's still a wild layup. Cross court opportunity there from deep, not going down. Instead, the patient play, the pick and roll game, not really getting anything to go down. But that's where you get the crazy 2K animations. It's a team takeover after a wild reverse dunk.
Yeah, and look, you see another missed wide open three. At a certain point, you kind of got to switch up your strategy. But it's been hard, and you see again another dunk.
Okay, find a way to give Tatum the ball. Find a way to get Jaylen Brown the ball. Two-man game. It's not to say like you can't get the pick and roll going. You have some great options in Al Horford, and especially to a strong screener in Robert Williams. If you get something point blank, something can happen there. But unfortunately, it's been happening to you. You would feel that it would be the Celtics that would be way better down low, honestly.
Yeah, and it's not even really like you said, a Devin Booker led scoring game. It's been mainly Durant and Ayton getting dunks down through the lane and no defense for it as you see another steal.
And you know what? Sometimes in 2K, you can get it done with their star players, or you could get it done with the other players' teamwork. And honestly, it's in a bad position to be where your star players can't get it done while you're playing, but on the other side, everybody's getting involved. Not only the others, but the stars as well. Long day in the office for Sia here.
Yeah, and it's already a 30-point game, and Bradford President has team takeover and has had it pretty much this whole quarter. It's kind of looking like he needs to do anything different just to get a chance to even come back. As you see another dunk from Ayton.
That is my president right there, Brad, getting it done and holding his opponent. I was about to say to four. Sia luckily able to make sure that the total isn't that bad, but I'm not sure how unbad you can make a 30-point deficit right here early on in the contest, well, midway through the contest at least.
Yeah, and outside of that last and one, it's been pretty much not being able to get any easy buckets to go down, and really not that many driving attempts either.
No, no, no. And they've been determined to get it done outside. And honestly, if you're the Suns, you go all the way back. You say prove it from deep. And right now, that's exactly what they cannot do. Sia cannot get any shot to go down from the outside. I believe all of their points, if not from the free throw line, has been from down low. And especially since they're not determined to attack that paint, instead, BAP is encouraging them to shoot from deep. Guess what? Nothing I feel is gonna get done, especially too. There is so few time left to cover a 30-point lead.
Yeah, he's gonna have to play perfect defense here on out and get something to go down, just to even have a chance. Because, like you said, the time is the biggest opponent so far. He has a 30-point cushion, so he's gonna let him shoot and see if he can get anything to go. As you see another late shot.
And it's unfortunate too because you see Sia making an adjustment right there, not falling for the passing lanes and getting caught up in the passing lanes. Instead, they did that to their opponent too, but they can't make them pay from outside. They're not really driving the ball inside, and even so, it looks like they have that paint on lock. Speaking on lock, CP3 has had the game on lock, missing that free throw, but been playing really good with them. Again, no Booker, no Kevin Durant. It's actually been Aiton and CP3 who have gotten it done for the Suns team.
Yeah, and it just seems like anytime Brett goes down low, he can go right by whoever is guarding the basket and just get an easy dunk or easy lay in. But at this point, the offense is not helping at all for Sion.
Absolutely not helping at all, and they don't need any help right there. As you see KD getting it done, 16 points. Maybe I lied about saying that KD isn't doing much. I guess it's a quiet 16 because KD isn't getting in normal KD fashion. You're used to pull up J's, you're used to threes, you're used to things on the outside. Instead, it's been all from the inside there. Speaking of inside, at least they're finally playing some defense down low.
And you see that offensive rebound gave them another attempt, and he gets Booker fouled on the three.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate too because a foul on the three, definitely what you don't want to see when you're down 34 points. It has been a crazy time. Well, I said 34. That's actually 36 points right there. I need to get my math right. But honestly, I have all day to get my math right because this one has not been close at all.
No, it really hasn't been close from the beginning either. As you see, anything he tries to do is just not working, and now he's getting the in-out game going, and he missed it that time, but it's pretty much he could do anything he wants.
Anything that they could want, my goodness. Another late clunker right there. It has been really difficult for Sia to find the basket here. I guess I'm understanding a little bit about how that 16-7 victory went, but honestly, they did a good job the last game finding the bottom of the net. So honestly, probably a little fluky that it's not happening today.
I'm not sure what's been going on in this game for him, but now you're starting to see some frustration. But this one is pretty much decided as we see Booker steal it and get the fast break dunk.
Let me go back into my math bag right here right now. Okay, I believe what is it, 7 times 7 is what? It's like 40, 40, 42,
49.
43, 49, 49. All right, so 49 points is what Bread needs in order to outscore their opponent by 7. And right now, they are on the cusp of doing that. All they need are 2 more baskets, and with a turnover right there, they just might get that done.
Yeah, and I don't know how it just seems like every time down the court, he's able to get right under the basket, and he has no defense for that.
Yeah, they should have probably went to that zone a little bit earlier. Probably should have played some more help defense, turn that help defense slider up a lot. Will we get the 7 times? Point
Oh,
score? No, we won't. We got a little bit too excited there.
well, he's gonna have another opportunity here, so we
All
still
right.
might be able to see it.
Right. We still might be able to see it. Devin Booker tired from just passing the ball around. That's basically all they've been doing. KD gets it 7 times. Sia's points. That's one Sia times another Sia. And that's how you get all of the points that Brett is doing. I understand why Brett right now not only dominated the competition during the playoffs, but during the season too.
Yeah, and you forget this is the finals, so he's been undefeated getting here, but now you see him, and it's like you said, it's 7 times the opponent.
And very, very. I don't even think tough day in the office is meant for this, right? It's funny how Brett is playing with the Suns. We remember when the Suns, especially too in the closeout game versus the Milwaukee Bucks a couple of years ago, they got pretty much embarrassed their last game. So many points scored on them. It was a blowout. Well, guess what? This blowout, I guess, is redemption, if only virtually. They have been able to get it done in great fashion. And yeah, that 49-7. We're sticking to it, and we're rolling with it right now. Brett in complete control, dominance, and honestly, like I said before, like we need to get them a presidential campaign going, because if they're beating their opponent this bad at 2K, maybe they could do some other things, for us.
That's right, because now he's just shooting with 8, and then he's making it. So
Oh
I
my
mean, he
gosh.
can do anything.
I was saying to Flossin and Saucin right now. Here's the Saucin opportunity. CP3, what you gonna do with it? Passes it out to Booker. You can sauce on him with a 3.
Yeah, he had an easy layup right there, and he decided to pass it out. And like we've been saying, it's been pretty much he's doing anything he wants, and there's no defense for it at this point.
Punishing their opponent. That's what's happening right now. Luke Cornett, when you're trying to shoot up shots with Luke Cornett, that's pretty bad things happening right now. Passing it all around. Marcus Smart can't get it done when he's wide open. Not going to get it done with coverage there.
Oh, and he gets the fake almost to go, but they get the offensive rebound again, and now you get a wide open CP3 mid-range.
Yep. Wide open for certain. And it is unfortunate too, because I don't know what Sia can do here besides start planning about what they're going to do with this 500 here.
Yeah, at this point, that's the only thing you can really do, because it's a 50-point game with 3 minutes left. And, at this point, you're just trying to try anything at this point to get anything to go.
They always say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. We saw some early adjustments by Sia early in the on, but unfortunately they have not been doing the same job of making those adjustments and making sure that they can get things to go down for them.
Yeah, and maybe the gap was too large, but after that, it's been pretty much spamming threes and quick passes, but these passing lanes have been getting jumped all game.
All game long they've been getting jumped, and it's getting jumped again. And I feel like this is the equivalent of getting jumped in 2K right now. It's over. Stop it, please. Wrap it up.
Yeah, and you see he's gonna probably break 60 as you get another steal and these easy dunks. Everybody's getting involved.
I feel like it's the opposite of a conga line. How low can you go? How low can you go? Except it's how high you can go. You know, how many points are you going to solve something from, right? There's only been 3 more points from Sia. So I mean, you're still 6 times what Bread scored. But are you trying to go for a 70 so you can get another 7 times the victory? You know, you just want to keep on consistent with that 7 times, whatever their score is.
Yeah, and it seems like he could, but at this point, he's just, just throwing anything up just to see if it goes.
Hey, man, it's like Chris Smooth. I don't know if you watched him back in the day, but it's like, why not let it fly? You know, that was one of the things that he always used to say. So why not just keep on chucking it up? Give a little chuckster. You know what I mean? We watch Inside the NBA. We like chuckster. Why not?
Yeah, this is a different kind of chuckster, He hasn't been doing that, and like we see Booker right now, just a step back 3, because like you said, why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? At this point, I'm doing step backs with like Aiton. At this point, I'm doing step backs with every single body. I don't care. Like I'm getting people off the bench. I don't even know who's playing for their bench. Instead, I mean, that was a great job right there. A dunk. Ooh, wow, crazy. But we've seen a lot of craziness. Let me pull up the Phoenix Suns bench right now, and these are the people I would have dunks with. Let me pull up the roster. You go ahead. Say what you saying.
Well, he has Torrey Craig in the game, who I didn't even realize it. He's been in the game this whole time, and I don't even think he scored once.
Okay, yeah, so we're definitely. So. He's definitely the first person that we're gonna go ahead and try to get some dunk contest action with. Why not?
Yeah, he's pretty much been, just defense, but. I mean, the way this is going, you didn't really need to resort to getting Torrey Craig anything. But at this point, why not?
Yeah, at this point, just go ahead and just get Luke Cornett. We haven't seen any of him. He's been hitting shots. Why not have some of him go down? Let's see. Who else is going there? Torrey Craig, as you said before. My internet is bugging out here. I would have so many different words to think. It honestly, Monty Williams, right? Like have the coach out here shooting some threes. That would also be awesome. And we can see what Monty, he's pretty tall. Maybe his step back game's pretty mean too.
I mean, he may be able to get an easy dunk or layup at this point. I mean, you're trying to think of somebody on the Suns bench, but it's like they traded the whole bench to get KD.
Yeah, honestly,
this is what it's gonna look like in real life. 48 minutes for everybody.
Yeah, I would say Terrence Ross and T.J. Warren, yeah, they're respectable, but like Josh Okogie, Jock Landale, like who? Ish Wainhart, all of these, Bismack Biyombo. I would love to see him in a 3-point competition. Let's make it that right now. As we're wrapping it up, Bread dominates completely, not getting 7 times the score, but still getting all of the respect in the world. And Chandler, this is a little bit of homage to all the times that we did HBCU Alliance back the first season, right? We were doing pretty weekly content. When an opponent got blowed out, you play fighting games, Chandler?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Chandler, like if you're playing fighting games, when you keep on doing the same thing over on an opponent, that's called cheesing, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so when you're running up the score, you're basically cheesing the score. So that's where I'm going to go throw it back a little bit. I'm putting on the cheese hat right here. We are cheesing up the opponent right now. That's where Bread did. And you know what? I like a little bread and cheese.
Of course, it goes together, He's talking about sauce earlier. You got cheese
Mm.
bread sauce.
Oh, a little
Sounds good to me.
fondue action. Yeah, yeah. But a little bit of analysis on what happened and what just occurred that game.
Well, you see, Bread for President, he dominated the game. He won the 2K PS5 finals, and he's going to walk away with $1,000.
Yeah, walked away in dominant fashion. You see a couple Morehouse players, so we'll see going on to into the next Xbox side to see if Morehouse can double up when it comes to championship, or maybe Don DMP, is also playing Xbox Madden and Xbox 2K as well. But talking a little bit more about this game, it was just dominant fashion from the jump. Transition points, that's exactly where they got it from. Getting into those passing lanes and doing those turnovers. I understand why Brett, if you look right there, also scored 70 on their opponent last time, because Brett has just been dominating in amazing fashion.
Yeah, it really started with the defense, where he was getting a lot of these steals and, like you said, going in transition. But he was able to get there at will down low, and maybe the settings weren't as on par as they should have been, but it was just really easy this whole game.
Yeah, easy like Sunday morning, honestly. I all the respect in the world for Sia, of course, making it this far, 5-2, and then getting right here to the bracket. That is very good. But my goodness, what was even better, or breader, I should say, the slip of the tongue, but honestly, it works out, was Bread getting it done in dominant fashion, 71-13. They will walk away, at least on the PS5 side, as the NBA 2K champion for the HBCU Gamer Fest National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. I am Bordy McBoard. That is Chandler talking alongside me. We are going to throw it to break so we can see what is going to happen with this next set of action on the Xbox side for 2K. See you soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the HBCU Gamer Fest National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. Bordy McBoard, Chandler here, and Chandler, we just saw some exciting play. Brett for president. My president right now. Great job, because they blew out the competition, but hopefully we have more exciting competition happen as we go into this Xbox final. You see right there, that's Brett, but now Prophet versus Dawn.
Right, and Prophet repping Morehouse, and you got Dawn repping Texas Southern. It should be a good matchup. We saw, of course, on the PS5 side, it was kind of one-sided all the way through the tournament. But for this Xbox side, it should be, a more even game.
You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie. Kinda was not it. It was very one-sided, but hopefully we won't see as many one-sided affairs going on later into the cast. And it doesn't look like it, at least initially from the record. Don TNP and Prophet from Texas Southern and Morehouse, respectively, both have a 5-2 record.
Yeah, and as you see, they played every week and they won most of their matches, but it's been pretty much them two. As you see, they're the only two with 5 wins, and it makes sense that they're both in the final.
Yeah, as we throw it to the bracket to see how we got here. Of course, shout out to Angry Aaron. They were around earlier in the HBCU, the Yard days. But then you also have Don TNP, also a veteran in themselves. You see right here, we go through it. These matchups have been very contentious, so it's not to say, hopefully, that we get something crazy like we did before, but you never know what can happen with these things as we see Don and Prophet go against each other.
Yeah, and they had that first round bye, so to speak, but it didn't matter. They were both obviously victorious, and we are seeing them in the finals, but like we've been saying this whole time, they've been pretty much even in terms of how they've been going against each team in the conference, in the tournament, I should say. And now we're going to see them face off against each other. So we'll be able to determine who is the best at 2K on the Xbox.
Well, here you have it. It's the Versus Grand Final. Prophet from Morehouse and Don TNP from Texas Southern University, the Soul. So as we load up and we see who is who, Prophet is going to be representing the Denver Nuggets, and Don TNP, the Milwaukee Bucks. And you know what? We said it made sense for the last set of matchups, and honestly, again, makes sense for these set of players as well.
Yeah, and although it's two different teams, you're going to imagine that the strategy is going to be the same when it gets to like the offensive play, getting to the basket and trying to create action off of that.
Yeah, definitely going to roll through their big man. That is going to be Nikola Jokic, the Joker, versus the Greek freak known as Giannis. And look at that, Giannis jumping a little bit too early right there. Some easy first bucket opportunities right there off the free throw for the Joker.
Yep, and he makes both of them. And as you can see, there's already going to be a little bit of an adjustment on defense. And he gets a wide open dunk, and it's immediately following with the timeout.
Yeah, the adjustment has to be immediate for that as well. And honestly, for both teams, they can go ahead and make their adjustments. You usually see that earlier on. We saw it earlier on in the last one too. And it makes sense. You're probably wondering, if you don't play 2K, why they're going to go ahead onto the pause screen too. There's a little bit more versatility of customization for game plan. They're in the pause screen too, but you usually see that earlier on, an immediate timeout to get these rotations right and make sure you don't get burned.
Yeah, and of course adjusting which kind of defense you're going to attack with, but he's going to leave Jokic wide open for the three, and maybe that's what he wants to happen.
Yeah, I don't know about that strategy long term. We saw that it actually did end up panning out for Brett for president, but we'll see who will end up coming along great with this one. I know what is safe though, getting Giannis the ball down low. You set it up for somebody else too. Brooke Lopez, really good at the free throw.
Yeah, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of inside action. So, as we saw last game with Aiton down low, maybe Brooke Lopez can also get something going because he is
Hey,
liable to get something going. As you see, Jokic getting an easy dunk right there.
and that's the athleticism you definitely don't normally see. But hey, it's 2K, so we can go ahead and close our eyes and pretend that Joker usually yokes it down like that. But I do know this: Giannis down low, great. That early adjustment that Don did to make sure that Giannis doesn't, that Profit made sure to make sure that Giannis doesn't get anything down low, not working at least earlier on here.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to make sure that, they get some rebounds because even though they're shooting right at the basket just about every turn, you get these dunks like this. You got to make sure you get every opportunity you can.
Oh my goodness, my goodness. We talked about barbecue chicken. We gonna have to see what the barbecue is like in Denver right now because Giannis is sure cooking them. Jamal Murray had no opportunity on that one. But Jokic trying to get down low as well.
Yeah, and you can see him trying to play the off-ball defense with Giannis to, try to help, basically his help defense. And he wanted to, he tried to, but now you see how dangerous Brooke Lopez can be on the offensive end as he has a dunk, some free throws, and a three-pointer right there already.
Yeah, Brooke Lopez is no joker, right? And the Nets was very good. Made a 40 burger this last playoffs as well. So definitely someone you want to watch out for when it comes to the outside game, inside game as well. Inside, outside, that's also Joker's game as well.
Of course, and he's the best at it, especially as a big. And like we were saying, maybe you want to leave someone open. Probably not the person you want to leave open.
No, no. Also, been getting buckets this playoff. So somebody you don't want to leave wide open. That someone is a little bit more lenient right there. Believe that was what's that I can't tell who that was right there.
I think that was KCP.
Oh, okay, KCP, which is somebody who can hit that shot, but also you would live well knowing that at least Joker isn't getting that compared to KCP.
Definitely, but that's what you have to kind of consider is if you leaving one person open outside of maybe like Jeff Green when he's in the game or someone like that, but Murray. You also have Jokic, and now those threes that we were talking about, you see Bryant going right to the basket right there.
Yeah, good job by Bryant there, making sure that they can get that bucket unabated. But look at that. It doesn't matter who's there for Giannis. He's going to yam it down on you every single time.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how you have to play with the Bucks, Giannis, everything runs through Giannis, and you have to play off of that. And there's constantly leaving someone open on these corner threes trying to defend the paint, but you can't leave Murray and Jokic open, as you see Jokic get the easy lay-in.
Yeah, and that's leaving them open. But at least that was off the rebound. And you know what else is happening? We've been seeing a lot of pick and roll action right there from both of these squads right there. Missed shot right there by Lopez. That does happen. That kind of doesn't happen. But pick and roll going strong here early.
Yeah, it seems like both players are trying to get something going, like these pick and rolls, like you're saying, these pick and pops too as well. And it's just leaving people wide open for these outside shots.
Yeah, and it's just these hockey assists off of them that have been also very important as well. Good job right there. Great defense down low. It seems like they've definitely shored up their defense to make sure that players from the Bucks aren't getting these easy shots down low. But then you have to watch out. Brooke in a time machine right there, doing a little Giannis action.
Right, and he's still 7 foot tall, regardless of how well you think you have an easy opportunity at a basket down low. It's Brooke Lopez. He was in the running for the defensive player of the year, and he's liable to do that.
Liable to do that. You know who else is liable to hit shots? That's Murray right there. Or is that a case? Is that, I can't tell. Was that Murray or was that KTP?
I think that
I think
was.
that was.
I think so. But as you
Okay,
see,
yes,
Giannis get the lay in right at the end of the quarter, and immediately there's some adjustments being made.
Immediately making adjustments, and you know what, that makes sense. They've done a better job getting it down low to make sure that something doesn't happen. But honestly, great job right there from both of these players. And you know what, we wanted something more contentious, and that's exactly what we're gonna get.
Right. It's pretty much been like a chess match, back and forth adjustments, and even though they're kind of playing similarly with the pick and roll being the main focus of getting any baskets, it's pretty much been a back and forth thing. As you see, you got Aaron Gordon with the alley oop.
Aaron Gordon almost won, actually ended up showing, almost won the dunk contest because of plays like that. They were in the dunk contest year after year after year because of plays like that. We're going to have a jump ball situation, which you normally don't see. Holiday going to have to wrap it up going against Reggie Jackson.
Right, and you usually don't see 2 point guards, and they keep possession of the ball. Bobby Portis doesn't know how he's going to get it to Giannis as he does, and Giannis is backing him down, and he's going to go up for it, and he almost gets it to go.
Almost, but no cigar. But we talked about shoring up the defense. Definitely something that they're doing right there. Reggie, he's tossing it all over the place. The first time we're seeing some Aaron Gordon action, which is interesting. They didn't start with them. Probably going to pass it to him right here. Didn't end up taking it from 3, but it's okay because they could just jam on the rim. Another dunk right there.
And, Aaron Gordon, like you said, should have won a dunk contest.
Yes,
but
I was going to ask you that.
As you see, these in-game dunks basically are dunk contest level.
I don't care what they say. When you're basically sitting on someone 7 feet in the air, you're going to go ahead. You're going to win that. Dwayne Wade, I'm still upset at you till this day. Not to say like Zach LaVine wasn't doing his thing, but come on, give it to Aaron. Time and time again, getting snubbed. We're seeing right there, that's not a snub. That's a 3. And the more threes you see, the closer you get to a dub.
Yeah, and especially if they're going to be wide open, in rhythm threes with the offense going, again, in and out, as now we see a couple reserves come in for the Bucks.
Yeah, and especially too with 5-minute quarters, you normally don't see the reserves in, so I don't necessarily mind that too. Give your star players some rest, but I'm surprised you're not seeing a little bit more rotation. Luckily for the Denver Nuggets, there's a lot of players to go around, and that is a great play also as well.
Yeah, and we've been pretty much calling it as we see it, as you see another transition opportunity for the Nuggets and a wide open 3. Maybe MPJ could have took that one, but
yeah,
they're getting back set into the half court.
Yeah, but Michael Porter, I'm hitting that. I think they said inside a couple days ago, MPJ on wide open shots. Yeah, I want that all day. You know what I don't want to see as often, not to say like Aaron Gordon can't necessarily make a step back off the dribble, but that's not something I want to go to.
Yeah, and you probably don't want DeAndre Jordan running the offense at any point either.
Why not DeAndre Jordan? He's run things. He was running up and down Lob City, so why not run an offense as well? You have to ask when they're going to go ahead and swap in the stars, especially too with 5 minutes. You don't necessarily have to worry about your reserves as much as in a 10 or 15 minute situation. But look at that, DeAndre Jordan not run the offense, instead run into the rim, which is what he's known for.
Exactly. And like you were saying about the reserves, both teams have their backups in still. But you would think in a game that's close as this, you would want to get an advantage as quick as you can.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see what happens after this. There you go. Now you get a full team sub out right here. We're going back to the starters. Well, not full team, but Brown is going back in for the Denver Nuggets. I believe we are swapping back to Brook Lopez, would only make sense because Brook has been doing his thing. But honestly, all the stamina he has, I'm going to Giannis. Not to say like he can't tough it out in a long game.
Yeah, and he's starting to see it's a 7-point game now, and every minute that Giannis is on the bench is an opportunity for Prophet to get easy buckets. Well, maybe not so with Brook Lopez back in.
Well, there were easier buckets, you would say. Look at that. That's the guy that makes all those dunks look easy. You're talking about contest dunks. Right now, we're seeing the contest on full display. It might as well be All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, and it seems like anytime Gordon gets the ball anywhere near the basket, you know it's going to be a dunk. So, I mean, there's nothing you can really do to defend that.
Nothing you can do. Hey, I would go ahead and make sure that I'm putting in Giannis. Maybe go ahead, do a zone. But right now, it's looking like he might be subbed out. We'll see right here. Yeah, he is. So no more worrying about him. Instead, Thomas Bryant and the Joker as well. As you see right there, Giannis going ahead, backing it down. We're going to go ahead, foul and a timeout.
Yeah, and it seems you see already as soon as Giannis comes back in, it's like, all right, how are we going to stop him? And then you get the foul, and then it's like, well, we got to try something else.
Yeah, foul and immediate timeout right there. Smart play. You want to make sure that you're definitely approaching this differently if Giannis Antetokounmpo is in there. And it's been, honestly, this is really good if you're looking for TMP, because you need Giannis, obviously, to facilitate the offense and to make sure that, Brook Lopez was probably the person that was scoring more, but Giannis was facilitating the ball, was getting shots as well, was definitely being run through Giannis.
Definitely, and you can already see playing off of Giannis is going to get everybody more involved, everybody on the court more involved, and immediately you already get an easy layup.
Yeah, both of these teams very heliocentric in nature, playing off of their stars. Crowder going to go ahead, steal that ball, passing it all around. Why not pass it to Old Reliable, but Old Reliable, not so reliable there.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good fast break defense, and he just has to shore up these turnovers. But it just seems like as soon as Giannis got back in the game, the entire game slowed down for both teams.
Yeah, Prophet has been doing a great job right there, not only of these pick and roll situations, but then also, too, with these adjustments. Earlier on in the game, Giannis got an immediate fast break opportunity and was doing well and getting an easy bucket. Ever since then, they've been doing a great job not only shoring up the transition D, but also inside D as well. But unfortunately, rebounding, if you get a couple, you could get it in, especially with Lopez.
Definitely. And as we see, the real difference in this game so far has been the bench for Prophet has been, was more effective than, Don TMP's has been. But now, both starters are back in, it's going to be another back and forth trading baskets, as you see Jokic with another dunk.
And we're probably going to see a continuous of trading baskets down low. That seems to be the theme of the day. You talked about it, Chandler. That's where these teams are probably the strongest. But honestly, if it comes to all-around game as well, I really do enjoy Denver just a little bit more.
Yeah, they have a lot of options to, base their whole offense around. As you see, Gordon now getting threes. He's been dunking this whole game, and now you get a wide open three. It's just hard to defend.
It's super hard to defend when somebody can take it inside and outside. And it's not to say like you don't have those options. Brook Lopez, an example of that right there, going to the free throw line. But the more reliable options that this Denver Nuggets has, well, yeah, I like them a lot more from the outside. You do have players like Connaughton, but then you also have KCP and PJ and so many other players that can also hit that three shot, Aaron Gordon included.
Yeah, and even though he's probably like maybe the third or fourth player you would want shooting a three, he's still effective from it. So it's like you can't just leave him alone. And they have multiple people who can handle the ball, and you get wide open threes from players like Jokic. He didn't get that one to go though.
Ooh, Don TMP has to be feeling lucky, breathing a sigh of relief. That could have been a huge swing. Instead, there you go on the other side, getting a stop, then going on the fast break with Giannis. And you can't it's not to say like there wasn't a player there, but it's Giannis off of the break. It's going to be hard to stop him in any capacity.
Yeah, and this, like you said, especially on a fast break, but it was a 5-point swing. It was a 10-point game a couple of seconds ago, and now it's back down to 6. So he's been, pretty effective with this defense.
Yeah, almost got it with Bobby. Decided instead to lay it in. Smart decision right there. And we're back to a 4-point game after it looked, especially considering those bench points, that Denver was probably going to go ahead and make some huge strides. Now, Denver seeing itself in a close game again. A 3 popped off. Maybe we're speaking too quickly. Denver holding on.
Yeah, and it's like we've been saying, you can't count them out. They have just too much firepower on offense. And, you get Giannis to go down low to Brook Lopez again. And it seems like that's the winning strategy so far for the Bucks.
Yeah, and I think not to be unmentioned is the fact that you're having Aaron Gordon there at the 3. You could have MPJ a little bit more reliable of an outside shooter, but it seems that Denver really wants that defense instead. Thomas Bryant down low to deal with those 2 bigs. But there's only so much that you could do before the bigs get you back.
Yeah, especially Giannis. He was hunting him that whole possession, making sure he didn't get the ball, and once he did, he erased it. And now you look, it's a 3-point game.
The best way to play Giannis is to allow Giannis, especially on defense, to be a free safety. Let him roam around court, because he can defend literally everybody. And when it comes to closeouts, we saw it earlier in the game too, can defend people down low and then close out on you well, to the point that you could block him on the perimeter as well.
And even though we've been both saying like each team has been using the pick and roll, we haven't really seen a lot of people in foul trouble. And that's the only way you can really hope to get some ease when you're trying to drive the lane.
Yeah, I would definitely try. Brook Lopez has been to the line. I would prefer if Giannis would. I would prefer to see more of that too. Some good old-fashioned dunks right there. The PNR, the pick and roll has been the star of this game.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it's still a huge part of basketball. It works if you have the effective, pieces to effectively run it. And as you see, Drew Holiday trying to get a basket and the team takeover is active.
Team takeover is active. That means the teams can play. Aaron Gordon there, even with the spot up shooter badge right there from the team takeover, didn't end up getting the ball down. Interesting right there. But Don going ahead and making some changes.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to, especially with this team takeover now. But even without that, you would have to imagine that maybe, I mean, he's gotten back into the game with these great defensive adjustments. So he has to make sure that he's on it, especially with the team takeover.
Yeah, especially considering too, there are a lot of players that have team takeover on this Nuggets team that has the ability to knock down shots, better offensive rebounder, better creator for your team. So you have to watch out what you're doing, who you are passing it to. And we're going to see a sub out right there to MPJ, probably to take advantage of his more accurate 3-point shooting, especially with that team takeover. Could be effective.
Definitely, but team takeover can affect both sides of the ball, as you see Jamal Murray with the dunk, and you don't usually see that often.
Yeah, Jamal Murray a little bit quiet when it comes to scoring, but has been doing their thing, assisting, especially off these hockey assists too. Oh my gosh, bully season. That's a defensive player of the year. You are bullying Giannis Antetokounmpo. He does not care. DeAndre Jordan making him look like lunch meat.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since that defensive player of the year, but it shouldn't matter that much where he's bouncing off of him.
Hey, DeAndre Jordan, yeah, a couple years indeed tried to get something down low. That's never been his game, though. What has been offensive rebounding, couldn't get it right there, bounced off his hands. Now we're going the other way. Milwaukee couldn't get anything in transition, but can they get anything with Giannis backing down low?
And they get a wide open three, and that would have definitely tied it up. And now we see he just has to play his game. He's not doing anything crazy. He's not hesitating. And you see DeAndre Jordan going to the line now.
Yeah, improved inside offense, I would say, from inside defense, I would say. Don TMP really shoring it up down low, but it's very interesting that he would switch from Thomas Bryant to DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre, used to have it. Now, not so much. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take it to a timeout here. And Denver's offense has slowed appreciably here in the third.
Yeah, you kind of want to wonder if he's going to bring Jokic back in. I know he's trying to get him some rest to play the whole fourth, but at a certain point, this lead has been evaporating and you haven't really been getting anything on offense.
Yeah, all things run through Jokic, just like all things run through Giannis Antetokounmpo. At least you have the fouls to make sure that you can go fouls, I believe, timeouts. I'm sorry, to make sure that you can give him some rest. Giannis, though, showing that stamina right though.
Yeah, and you see, even with that, it was an easy layup for him, and you get the and one.
Yeah, MPJ, even with the contested play right there on the inside, still getting the and one. So 51-47. We'll see if Don can get anything going right there in these last couple seconds. No cigar, but it has been a close and contentious one. And considering what our last game was like, honestly, Chandler, I'm feeling pretty happy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When you get a game is this close, has been back and forth going to the fourth quarter, it's still anybody's game. It's definitely going to be an exciting finish.
Well, timeout already called right there, so we're going to go ahead and get some adjustments. And Don's has been doing their job, making sure that they're keeping in. And honestly, the most impressive stretch that they lasted through was that entire time that Giannis was out, and they had to rely on the much weaker Milwaukee bench because they've been able to stick around through that and have been honestly able to really fix their ability to block out Denver down low, and then also too on the perimeter as well. We don't see as many wide open shots on the perimeter. Don is doing a great job just keeping in there.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, the reserves for both teams, there's obviously going to favor Denver, but Milwaukee has a lot more, wings and, like forwards in order to combat the Nuggets bench. They kind of match up pretty well, so it's no question why he was able to weather this storm a little bit, as you see Giannis go up for a layup attempt.
Yeah, if Don is going to get back in there, he's going to have to make sure that guy scores, because there are a lot of scorers right there. Surprise Murray didn't go ahead and shoot a three right there. Instead, setting up another play right there. Thomas Bryant just cutting to the basket. I understand why he didn't go for the three. Get the sure play.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to be patient, but with Giannis, you don't have to be patient, because 9 times out of 10, he's going to make that closed basket.
No, and he was bullying the first person that was guarding him, but then good rotation right there. Joker going ahead and playing some good help defense to make sure that the bucket didn't go down. Surprised that Murray didn't shoot it again, but again, a wide open shot by MPJ. It's looking like Prophet is trying to make sure that he can run away with this.
Yeah, and as you see, it's been a couple of fast break opportunities, and as the game is starting to get a little bit away from Don TMP, he's not been able to make these easy layups he was in the first half.
No, Denver, especially since the beginning of the game, adjusted their defense on the inside, knew that it was going to be a heck of a game, especially if Giannis was running rampant right there. So unfortunately has not been able to get it done. The pick and roll game has been working beautifully right there, and also sending cutters at the exact right time with only 7 seconds left. Though it's looking like this is a great defensive possession right there. Thomas Bryant is not the person you want to shoot on the outside. That is a good possession.
Yeah, that was a great defensive possession. Nothing easy was gained, and now on the other side, these close layups are just not being able to get into the basket.
Yeah, I would definitely try to be a little bit more patient if I came to Don TMP. You're not completely out of this at all. It's only an 8-point game. With all this time left, anything could happen. Right now, it's leaving Thomas Bryant out there on the perimeter has worked in their favor, and that is why they have been stagnant on offense right now, unable to space it out. But it's not to say like you can put Aaron Gordon here, because if you do that, then you're allowing Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez to go and run rampant.
Yeah, and we saw 2 consecutive defensive possession where it came down to being close to be a shot clock violation both times. So the defense has been on point, but we just need a little bit of maybe another strategy on offense.
Yeah, well, that's what timeouts, I apologize, are all about. They've been having some good possessions off the pick and roll, but Milwaukee's been doing a better job at defending it. We'll see what happens as we go into this next set of action right here. Inbounding right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been the main and primary facilitator, but he needs to get his teammates to get something down.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want Bobby Portis shooting threes, but if that's the only option that you have on offense, it's kind of, you got to shoot at some point. Did you see Thomas Bryant with the three?
Yeah, I would prefer Bobby Portis than Thomas Bryant. So that's interesting to see right there. But Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to also make it interesting going the other way.
Yeah, and it's like, well, Giannis isn't going to just keep missing these close layups, so you got to, stay the course, play your game, not get too crazy and try to do just wild stuff. But as you see, the Nuggets on offense, Prophet is still driving to the lane at will.
Oh, lucky for Don TMP that wasn't an and one, but he's still going to make it tough with 3 minutes left to go. It is now a 61-50 advantage for Profit. That's 11 points. It's possible, especially in 2K, but he's going to have to make haste right now of these possessions.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell that, as we were saying before, time is pretty much the biggest opponent so far. There's only about 2.5 minutes left. It's 11-point game, but if you're going to go to the basket, you're going to need some of these shots to fall.
Oh, and Thomas Bryant making sure to shore up Giannis Antetokounmpo by themselves. That's super impressive. Good job also having a Joker right there in order to get the rebound. Couldn't get that last second shot, but it's been these offensive and defensive rebounds that have been so clutch for this Denver squad. Then they go ahead, get another point on top of that. They will. This is officially becoming so hard for Don. Profit, looking at that profit of $1,000 right now, Chant.
Yeah, and it hasn't even really been Jokic. It's been Thomas Bryant so far, and I definitely was not expecting that coming into this game.
Hey, man, why not have Thomas Bryant shoot a three? I feel like it's like, remember last year in the playoffs where every game that Draymond Green had a three, good things happened for the Warriors. I don't believe that playoff run, they lost a single game. Well, guess what? It's looking like that's not going to happen with Profit in a Thomas Bryant three either. They're walking away with it soundly. Why not step into an MPJ three as well?
Yeah, he's on fire, and quietly, he's also been having a really good game. And now he's just making everything at this point.
When MPJ starts to go for the Denver Nuggets, that's when the Denver Nuggets, I mean, they're already a scary team, especially with Joker, and you also too have Murray as well. But when he starts to go, and Aaron Gordon can also get some buckets too, that's when they become a problem. And honestly, I'm not even sure how we got here. Profit has done a great job in this fourth quarter to make sure that they are running away with this soundedly right here. Excellent job by them.
Yeah, it was just a master class of shot making. And I was saying earlier how, Don needs to play his game and not get too hesitant. And at that point, it didn't really matter because they, Profit started making every shot. And it's a 20-point game all of a sudden.
Yeah, a step back three with Joker. That's how you know that this game is effectively over here. Giannis just chucking it up after a really close and contentious battle. Great job right here, as we said, from Profit. Getting it done with the bench, getting it done with the others, not even having to rely on Jamal Murray as a scorer or Jokic as a scorer or passer. It's been their ancillary. Jamal Murray with the assists, Joker with their rebounds. That's really helped them secure this victory.
Yeah, and of course, you had MPJ, making everything in the second half. And you got Thomas Bryant, DeAndre Jordan, Aaron Gordon. Those are your main three offensive weapons, in the second half.
Yeah, and now Profit only worried about them dollars. $1,000 richer?
Oh.
Why not give the crowd something to work with too? That is a 22-point victory right there by Profit over Don TMP. Don TMP now $500 richer, but Profit looking at the double prize of $1,000 here in Chandler. It was an amazing fourth quarter to make sure to set the staple on that matchup.
Yeah, he was, leading throughout the game, but it was a back and forth game for the first couple quarters. But like you said, that fourth quarter just got hot and was making everything and secured the $1,000 prize.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough that fixing The defense earlier on in the game really helped them secure that victory, really making sure to settle in on Giannis Antetokounmpo and knowing that he was facilitating the ball, doing everything that he can to make sure the inside was on lock. And once he did, he knows that the money is on lock. Not to say like Don TMP can't get some more money from this event. They will be going and facing off in our Madden Xbox competition. But right now, Prophet, they're the champs.
Definitely. And what a performance, you know. We were saying how it just takes a couple shots in a row, and that was pretty much the difference in the game. And Prophet, as you can see, throughout the tournament, well, it was he really had 2 games because he got the bye, but each game he won by about 20 points. So, you know, he just was making more shots, you know, playing great defense, and it was the difference at the end in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was the difference. And we'll see what Don TMP can do that's different coming in our next set of action. We are going to load up some Madden play for you all here at the HBCU Esports Alliance Championship. I'm Boarding with Board. That is Chandler. We'll see you after the break to see if Don TMP can finally get a victory. Welcome to the HBCU Gamer Fest National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. I am Bordy McBoard. Joined alongside me is Chandler. And Chandler, we saw some exciting 2K action, but instead of doing dribble moves on the court, now instead let's toss some pigskin as we head to our Madden Championship. Here's the champion circle to see who all's going to who. Of course, we saw Brett for Prez go ahead and secure the finals for the PS5 side. Xbox side was Profit, and now we'll see if Don TMP can come back, get a victory for the Xbox finals, or if Moody will say, no way.
Right, and as we saw in the 2K tournament, Don TMP, he chose the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's going to keep it in state, as so to speak, with his Madden team. And of course, we got Madden. It's not exactly like the NFL, and it's not necessarily the best teams. It's more about the best players.
Yes, absolutely about the best players, and there are a lot of different players here for our Xbox side of Madden throughout our HBCU Alliance season. We see right here the real Suave was actually at the top, along with Don TMP, Chef Curry, but Moody right there was actually the 5th seed. So honestly, this is a good testament to where sometimes you just get hot at the right time. And in the NFL, I feel like that happens a lot more. Surprise team getting some upset victory.
Definitely, and like you were saying, Moody right in the middle of the pack during the regular season, so to speak. But once the playoff starts, it's anybody who is, can get hot at the right time.
Getting hot at the right time is what this is about. Much bigger bracket as you're seeing right there. You have to cipher through who went where and who. Don TMP getting a little bit of a bye week right there. You're seeing Profit also there, also playing on the Xbox side for Madden. Honestly, did not get as much success. Don TMP was also Moody, I apologize, also coming off a bye week, did their thing, scored a moderate amount of points, and coming off a 38-point game too. So we'll see if they keep up that good momentum. Either way, this is the championship, and it's looking like both competitors are looking great.
Definitely, they are getting hot at the right time, trying to get this $1,000. And of course, $500 is a very good consolation, but either way, they made it to the finals, and now it's about who is the best Madden player on Xbox.
Moody representing Morgan State. You have the Texas Southern University Soul by Don TMP. And as you talked about, a little bit of a confusion right here. Both players going with the team of the Packers. Just so you guys know which Packers is who, Moody will be the green Packers, and also too, Don TMP will be the white ones. And in case you get confused, we have that also up there on top of the screen.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, it's not necessarily about who has the best team. It's pretty much how you want to play Madden. And as you can see, they're both choosing the Packers. And what are the Packers really good at? Well, really good at passing, really good at pass defense. So it's kind of a good way to play Madden when you're playing against somebody, as we see a delay of game to start it off.
Ooh, that's definitely not something that Moody wants to start off with, the delay of game. It looks like they weren't able to make their audibles to start this game, but at least now they have their audible set, so we probably won't see any more of that. But as you talked about, it's about these players on the field, and right now, as you see right here, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of both teams, Gunslinger, that's an attribute you want to have because you can really sling that thing. It is a laser. And speaking of that, throwing on the rope, Aaron Rodgers right there for 6.
Yeah, and it's going to be kind of hard to pass against, Jair Alexander. He has him in the slot, and that's why, he got the delay of game, and they're both trying to make a chess piece, and you see Tanyan wide open up the seam, and might need some more adjustments.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about Jair Alexander when you have somebody streaking down the field. The seam was wide open. You're going to see a lot of plays also on the corner too. Didn't end up getting that, but corner routes also very heavily abused against this AI. So we'll probably see a lot of that going on into the game. Moody getting downfield quickly.
And you see TMP is controlling the linebacker, trying to get anything that happens over the middle, and it's pretty much been working so far.
Yeah, that was also one of my favorites to do in the linebacker. Middle of the field, so you can determine who doesn't have a lot on them, as you see right there. Good job by TMP making sure that there was nothing down the field. We're going to third down situation. After Moody started off hot, we're stalling a little bit here. Let's see if they can get the rust off.
Yeah, third down almost in the red zone. You kind of got to get a feel of how they're going to run this. You see a lot of crossing routes, and you see a repeat of one of the first plays of the game, but it wasn't enough to get the first.
Yeah, that is going for 9 yards right there. But in a 4th and 1 situation, we're probably going to see a lot of these 4th downs being played. Defense not as bad as in other Maddens, but definitely still very exploitable, especially in short yardage situations. Are we going to see a run? Are we going to see a pass? We're going pass heavy all day. As you see right here, down the middle of the field is Lazard there for the touchdown.
And you see, it's those crossing routes again. It seems like it's very hard to defend multiple spots in the middle of the field on these crossing routes. And if you got someone like Lazard who can run it in after the catch, it's going to be really hard to see how they're going to stop this.
Yeah, the middle of the field, it can be very contentious, a lot of bodies moving, but it's also easiest to see. So if you see someone coming down the middle of the field, well, you'll probably hit them if they're wide open. We'll see if TMP has an early delay of game situation. Probably not going to see that. Early blunders do happen. Moody able to come back from it. But this Packers squad, going against this Packers squad, not a lot more to talk about the Packers. Of course, we talked about Gunslinger, but I guess we could talk a little bit about defense. You talked about how it's important to have somebody who is a good passer. That's very important. It's also important to have somebody who's fast on defense as well.
Yeah, and well, you were saying about the delayed game, but it seems like, the first play, you can live with the delayed game. You see them decline it. They're trying to get their audibles and everything set up. It's a limited amount of pauses you get in Madden.
Oh, yeah, there's only one timeout that you have, so you have to make sure you have everything set up there. Also want to know, maybe it's a little bit of camaraderie too, as Moody decides what they're going to do on the defensive side. Yeah, there's only a limited amount of time. You want to make sure that the cornerbacks are fast. The wide receivers are fast too. Sometimes you'll see players who normally relegated on the bench end up playing a lot of minutes because they just have the speed, and speed speaks in Madden.
Especially in Madden. And like you said, it really does not matter how many, who's the better player. The speed is a difference. The juking is a difference, and the ability to break tackles is a difference. You see Aaron Jones get a broken tackle on his first attempt.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, such a good running back, and honestly, too, I'm glad they've been ringing his bell a lot more as of late. The Packers really needed that as we going ahead and going 2nd down and 2 right here. Aaron Rodgers finding Lazard right there down the middle again, going to that. And good job right there, playing it safe, dinking and dunking, not like Moody here, where it was very all excitement early on, very methodical, at least so far.
Yeah, and that's what kind of happens when you're playing the same team that you own, like you're controlling. You kind of know how they're gonna, attack the defense, and it's really an opportunity, as you see Lazard right there with the hard cut going up the field, and that's how he's gonna get his offense today.
Oh, yeah. And it only makes sense if you're going to, and Madden, as we said before, sometimes is not necessarily the best player, but somebody who has speed. Lazard has a little bit of both going on, and that's exactly why they are bread and butter for both of these players. That's already another 1st down right here. This is a slow, methodical pick apart drive right now for Don TMP, but it's been very successful.
And one thing I've been noticing, he comes out in this weird empty formation. I don't know if that's to get the advantages he wants. As you see Tanyan wide open, and then he audibles to another formation right before he snaps the ball.
And you know what? It's probably get that extra wide receiver on there instead of necessarily having a running back there. So you have a little bit more potentially speed route running there going on. Empty formation again, though. So we're going to go ahead and switch it out. Probably also to faking out what exactly is going on and what Moody is going to choose as a defense. So we'll see how that progresses going on. But that is a good point. Switching constantly from empty going into gun.
Yeah, because when you're an empty, it's like, oh, it's going to be a pass. There's no running back there. But if he audibles to another formation, he could run or pass. So it's kind of like a way to hide what you're actually going to do on the play.
Especially too when you're an empty, that makes it easier for you to go to something like a defensive thing like dollar or something like that, have a little bit more defensive backs on the field. And if you switch to a run, then it becomes a little bit harder for you to defend that too, because a good running back can go ahead and run over a lot of these DBs with their trucking ability and strength. So this time going into gun bunch right here, not getting anything, but a little bit more balanced offense right now from Don TMP.
Yeah, and like you were saying, when you're trying to defend multiple wide receivers, you're not going to have that defensive line in. You're just not going to have a lot of defensive linemen in. And especially here at the goal line, it's kind of hard to defend. You can't really sell out one way or the other. You kind of got to be ready for both.
Yeah, interesting going with trips again, so close into the goal line right here. Maybe it's nice to do a little bit of crosser, but it looks like they're probably going to go with a vertical situation. Maybe have Tanya go here, make a crossing route, which it seems like they're wide open. Very good drive right there, slow, methodical. Didn't even have to tap into Aaron Rodgers' throwing power back. It was all about just smart plays and smart timing passes in order to move down the field methodically.
And not only that, but he took over half of the quarter to get all the way down the field. But it's a way to control the game and see if Moody's going to rely more on these big plays to get back control of the game.
Yeah, big plays can make big things happen. That's what we saw with Moody, somebody streaking down the field earlier on. I believe it was Tanyan. We'll see what they're going to do here as we go into Twins right now. Aaron Rodgers getting walloped. The blitz package coming right now. And unfortunately for Moody, unable to get a pass off.
Yeah, and everybody was covered downfield. And I guess with Rodgers, it's kind of harder to have the threat of the run, especially in this year's Madden, where it seems like
Mhm.
quarterbacks have a harder time scrambling. But you get these crossing routes, and it as long as they get that interaction, the little pick play, if you will, it's easier to get these these mid 10 to 20 yard throws off.
Hey, rub routes, rub routes. The pick play is illegal in football. What are you talking? but but good observation, great observation right there. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have it like he used to, and especially too in Madden, it's a little bit harder to run rampant down the field. Of course, you have guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, who have that ability to really run up and down the field. If you're a slower quarterback, you're not going to get a lot of that rushing ability, but you do have the passing ability. Unfortunately, unable to come back down with it there. Good timely hit to make sure that ball is out.
Yeah, and you can see the breakdown of the play calls so far. It's been all passes, and it's 3rd and inches now, and he's defending like it's going to be a run, but he hasn't run the ball yet.
Yeah, I'm not betting that we're going to be seeing a lot of Moody runs right now. It's definitely all been using that pass ability, and if it's working, it's working, but we'll see how long it works and if he'll be effective with it. Right now, everybody covered. That is, except for Lazard. That is a touchdown right there, outrunning the defense completely.
Yeah, and it kind of spread him out, like, defending to the sides and the short, and that leaves these seam routes all the way wide open, and he got caught slipping again. Like he did one of the first plays of the game. He gets another seam route wide open. This time it goes all the way for a touchdown.
Yeah, and it's very important to get behind that defense, and that's what happens when you're determined to make sure that you're spreading things vertically and horizontally as well. The more amount of field that you cover, the better your chances will be to catch a defender slipping. It's looking like Don TMP going into empty and then switching back like they always do right there.
Yeah. And it looks like he's going to throw out of this formation right back to Lazard. Seems like Lazard for both teams has been the main focus.
I just want to throw out the fact that both of them are New York Jets right now, Aaron Rodgers and Lazard. Just saying, that might be my team or whatever. But this is not real life. This is Madden. We're not going to see that in real life or Madden. That was probably a mistake right there with the QB draw. Not the right player you want to see do that.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't mean to pick that play, or he was trying to catch him sleeping, but it did not work at all.
No, did not work at all. Going back a couple of plays, you have Aaron Rodgers, right? Which means that in a lot of these, long seam passes, you can go ahead and chuck it. Again, look like, there's an opportunity there for you to get it. In normal circumstances, I would say not, but it's Aaron Rodgers. He has gunslinger. He has the throwing power advantage. That means that he can get a lot of these long seam routes right there. So I think that Don TMP is being a little bit conservative, which I don't mind. But Tanya has been open on the seam route, and honestly, that safety has been beat a couple times.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how his defense has been taken advantage of. He might have to resort to the same game plan, but you see you get the first down right here. It's another short pass, but he's still slowly moving down the field.
Hey, and it's not to say that just because you have the throwing power doesn't mean that you have to use it for the vertical game. I mean, a lot of times you can fit in the ball in these small places using that laser, as you see right there. That's the only reason why that pass was able to be completed right there to Aaron Jones. So, I mean, good job knowing what you need to do, but there is an ability to get more downfield plays, but I guess you don't need the downfield plays as long as you're getting downfield regardless, huh?
Right. And that might be a better use of the time, as we've been talking about. As you see a run, the rare run, but look at that. He's almost into the end zone, stopped at the 7, and he still has more opportunity to score now.
And that was a good read right there, looking at the coverage and knowing that, of course, because it's in a 2-minute situation, that you're going to have mainly pass plays, but a good job realizing who was there on the defensive line. There wasn't really anybody on that gap, and Joe's able to make one person miss. And when that happens, you're able to get a lot of yardage. Now, Don TMP can really just milk it out the clock and make sure that Moody doesn't have an opportunity to get into the end zone. But hey, as long as I get into the end zone, that's all that matters.
Definitely. And you saw Moody didn't have any timeouts left, so it was either get a stop here and risk, not getting an opportunity again before halftime, or letting them score and have those explosive pass plays that he's already been, getting at a frequent rate. As you see, Tanyan returning this kick. It was a nice little special teams play by Don TMP.
Yeah, strange things all afoot, right? Strange things all afoot. But we've seen Moody get points in a hurry, and that's the danger. That's why Don PMP took the foot off the gas and honestly went with a run play in the red zone. Probably didn't expect this much time to be left on the field, and that was the worry. You don't want there to be big plays, and even though the clock is ticking, Don TMP could still get down the field very quickly. It still has plenty of time to do something with this.
Yeah, and you see with those timeouts, he's going to try to run to the sideline, and he gets to the sideline. That stops the clock, but he doesn't have timeouts left. 15 seconds, 37-yard line, so he's kind of in field goal position, but he wants to get a touchdown.
Of course, and honestly, as soft as Don TMP's off defense has been, I think there's a possibility that Moody can find the open person right there, the corner. Speaking of open, maybe if they got the ball out a little bit sooner, they could have got to the end zone. But honestly, getting the ball 10 seconds left, first and goal right there on the 5-yard line, it's looking good for Moody.
Yeah, he just got to not get sacked at this point. And it was a smart throwaway to save some time and get another chance at a touchdown.
Yeah, very smart right there. Bench, very reliable, but unfortunately, it's a little bit easier, with a little bit more space. Instead of this condensed zone right there, it's an interception. Tried to go on the inside. Usually that's a safe play when it looked like Don TMP might have been giving away some points, either 3 points or a touchdown to Moody. Right now, Don TMP clutching it up right here, making them walk away with 0.
Yeah, and you saw that Moody was trying to have a quick pass in case he needs to get another play, but that's the risk. You could throw an interception and end up with no points.
And that's why they threw the ball low, trying to hope that the defender wasn't going to get it out and get that. But unfortunately, they threw it on the inside, and that's exactly where that defender was. Unfortunately, it is an interception, and we are going the other way. Moody now passing it to Don TMP. Not passing it. Don TMP kicking it off. Moody kicking it off to Don TMP. Woo! Words here. And now Don TMP has an opportunity to come right back. Got the interception. Now has some points on the board.
Yeah, and that's why it was really a pivotal stop, because he was getting the ball back, but he wanted to make sure he didn't leave any time. He did. He got all the way down to the goal line, but that interception is really the difference in this game so far.
Yeah, it definitely is. Tough play right there. Had the wide open man, but unfortunately, just a little bit far out. Pressure probably affecting it. We're going to go again. 2nd and 10 right now at the 25-yard line.
Yep, and you see the audible out of that formation. That seems to be his little his his you know his goals, and
Yeah, go
it,
to,
it it's been working for the most part, but it
Yeah.
hasn't been these past two plays.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I think Don TMP is very, let's say, conservative with it, because it's not to say like they didn't have people. Probably a shot at the scene, maybe another shot at the scene. That would have been a little bit riskier play with two defenders right there in the middle of the field. But there have been theoretically plays available, making Aaron Rodgers do a little bit of a throwback, getting a first down. It doesn't matter how it's done. And honestly, maybe that's why they went to the quarterback sneak, because they're like, I want to unlock that Aaron, you know?
Yeah, maybe, but everybody has been being covered down the field. It's going to leave the quarterback open, and even though Rodgers isn't as fast as he used to be, he can still get a first down.
This coverage has been great right now. The cover 4 drop contain has been really good. And the contain has been great too, because Aaron Rodgers isn't able to go and step outside the pocket and get another long run. And you don't want Aaron Rodgers. He's probably not fast enough to get between that tackles and get the first down yourself. So honestly, smart coverage right here. Non-TMP is going to have to be creative, change up the play call, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he's getting he's doing, of course, the audible at the line after being in the same formation, and Moody has picked up on it, so he's not changing his defensive play even though he knows the audible is coming, because he's been able to get that pass coverage on everybody, and it's been really the difference so far this second half.
And honestly, when you're playing in zone, it's very important for you to use things like slants and different things like slants that go ahead and they get in between the defenders, so using slants, using inside breaks, anything that's cutting on the inside, post routes as well, making sure that you're getting in between the zone and picking them apart that way. We'll probably see a little bit more of an adjustment right out there as we go into drive. It looks like Don TMP going ahead, dropping back to pass. Tanyan right there getting the first down.
Yeah, and once he realized that he's doing this cover 4, he's trying to attack that now, and he's still going down the field. It might be taking a little bit longer, but he's still getting the first downs, and there's not much you can do about it once you figure out how to attack a defense.
Yeah, not quite much that you can do, and we'll see what happens if they can figure it out. Ooh, RB was potentially open, but honestly, they were just glad to make sure that they didn't give up a sack.
Right. That's the one way that you can really disrupt the offense, if they have your number, and that's getting pressure. We haven't seen a lot of pressure in this game so far, but on this drive we've been seeing a couple of plays that have been pretty much throwaway plays because of it.
Yeah, ooh, Aaron Jones making the good pass right there. It looks like if there was a little bit more confusion, it looks like Stokes could have walked away with that interception. That's what was on Moody's mind right now. But he talked about killing the clock. That's exactly what Don TMP is doing with this drive. It's almost been the entire quarter. The game of keep away has worked right now for Don TMP. And right now, they're really working on Moody's nerves, because Don TMP has been slow and methodical and not allowing Moody another chance at this at the rock.
Yeah, and you could tell that it's kind of unstoppable. It's like you saw the throwaway, and we've been seeing a lot of throwaways, but outside of that, You get these sideline catches, and it moves the chains every other play.
Yeah, going back to that drive concept, doing a good job right there. The outbreaking route did its job and did it effectively, caught that defender slipping. And now we are in even closer into the red zone right now. Don TMP using up 4 minutes of the clock, probably looking for more. Not a lot of run plays here, but honestly, with this type of coverage, we're probably not going to see it as an opportunity with the seams, or it looks like pre-read it does. Instead, look at that, the crossing route, a touchdown.
And like we've been saying, you just have to be patient, or at least Don TMP has, and it's been working perfectly. He's right now. He's in his bag right now. He's taking time off the clock, and he's making sure he scores on every drive.
Slow and methodical can also win the race, okay? You don't have to be a hare. You just have to be a tortoise who knows what to do. Hold up. Was that a turnover that we saw right there? It looks like it might be Don TMP's ball. Oh, my goodness. If we had instant replay, we definitely slowed down to it. You saw that at the last minute. The ball did not go out of bounds. Instead, it went right to Don TMP's hands, and Don TMP got the ball at the 30 after scoring. Moody must be in a foul mood right now.
I wonder if that was on purpose, because I said it earlier. The last time he had a kickoff, it got to the tight end's hands. So, not someone who's usually returning kicks, and he's going to go for the strip, trying to punch the ball out, and it works.
Yeah, Don TMP determined to go ahead and milk some of that clock out. Not really had a coverage that you want to run against, but honestly, especially after scoring and then getting the ball immediately back, they're going to go ahead and slow it down. And that's interesting. I just noticed that too. We're not even in Lambeau Field right now. We're at the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. Very interesting that they went ahead and chose. I wondered why we were seeing the Falcon. It didn't register until right now, honestly.
Probably to, I guess, maybe not have to deal with any of the effects of the weather in Green Bay. But either way, it's been a close game. Those two turnovers have been the main story, the main difference in this game so far.
Yeah, two turnovers have done a really bad justice onto Moody right now. And as you see right here, Moody is unfortunately still not going to get an opportunity at the ball. Don TMP milking out the clock earlier, and now a fresh set of downs, a fresh opportunity to milk out the clock even more. And as we go into I formation, we're probably going to see a run. We are, and that's more and more ticks off the clock.
Yeah, and he's going to use every down he has to make sure that time keeps ticking down. He said it. He's probably going to run on first down, and that's taking time off the clock. As you see, we're under 4 minutes.
Yeah, and as you see right there, so it's a swap right here to Moody, go to 4-3, but then you go the opposite side where the defenders aren't, and look at that run. So much determination, though. Honestly, get the points while you're there. That's what Don TMP did, and now it's a 28-14 lead. 2 scores for Don TMP. A score off the turnover was crippling.
Yeah, and he didn't do anything that he haven't done before. He's running the ball out. And look, he saw it again. He attempted to get another strip on the kick return.
And honestly, if it keeps on going to your tight end, might as well, right? Might as well. This time, Moody's Aaron Rodgers lining up in twin right here, trying to get something to happen. They need to work quickly with 3 minutes left on the clock. If they work quickly, get a touchdown, maybe, in a minute or two, and then go ahead, get an onside kick. It's not to say like they can't go ahead and come back. It's just going to be a hard battle right now, Chandler.
Yeah, and you got to complete these passes to even give yourself a chance. That was a wide open pass, and it's starting to get a little antsy, you know. It's starting to creep into the back of your mind, like, ooh, I need to do something right now.
Oh, the pressure is on, and unfortunately, what else was on with the coverage on that defender? Knocked the ball out right there, going down the middle, unable to attain the ball. Now, one more shot right there for Moody. You have to imagine that he's going to go with it anyway. And hopefully, for his sake, he can go ahead and convert it, because if he doesn't, Dante and P is going to milk it out.
Yeah, and this is the game right here. Pretty much. There's 3 minutes left, but if he doesn't get this, it's even harder.
Oh, and look at the closing speed. Oh, got it off of the rebound right there. Could have had a play, an immaculate reception for Moody, but instead, the immaculate closing speed of that defender, making sure the ball was knocked out, and now Moody is on life support as Dante and P does what they always do, slowly move the ball down the field.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy catch. That would have definitely turned the tides of this game. But now you see we're almost at the 2-minute warning, and now we are, and he has to get 2 stops in order to get a chance to tie this game up.
Yeah, unless you get a strip, it's going to be hard. We're going back to I formation, so it's looking like Dante and P isn't even going to make a chance. Walk away with it. Go ahead. You're already in field goal range. Finally, there is a timeout right there for Moody. All right, doing some math with it, even with a 2-point conversion, if this goes in, unfortunately for Moody, it's still going to have to be a 3-possession game. So Moody going to have to wish that this does not go in, and I'm not sure why Dante and P is letting the clock go down. They called a timeout. Yeah.
I think he realized it at the last second. You know, he's like, hey, oh yeah, I forgot. Timeout.
Hey, I'm not mad at them. They want to go ahead and they want to walk away with this victory. So, hey, better to be safe than sorry. And honestly, too, you get so caught up in the moment, all this heat happening, you don't realize what's happening. But these kickoffs have been really smart, too, skewering it all over the place, making sure that the tight end is catching it every time. So the return's not even safe as well.
Yeah, that was a wild move to call a fair catch at the 12-yard line, but it's like you don't want to risk another strip. And you see he's been getting these big plays, so it's still an effective strategy rather than return it with the tight end.
And you know what? Maybe that's why Dante and P, even though they have Aaron Rodgers, from the jump was so methodical, because they knew that Moody was going to go for broke, go for these big plays, and they've been converting them. Unfortunately, didn't get that one, but honestly, that looked good in most cases than not. That would be good. So why not make sure that you're sitting on the ball throughout to make sure that you don't give Moody a chance?
Yeah, and it's like if you got to rely on these big plays in order to have a chance in this game, you're going to get a couple of these late breakups that are just back-breaking, especially when you need a quick play to get back in this game.
And it's sad because you see it, you know it's there, but unfortunately you just have to hope that the catch is true and it's fair. All right, so it's looking like we're going to go ahead and call it quits. Moody was unable to get it done. And now, Chandler, we have to go ahead and anoint the cheesehead as we go ahead and transition back into the action. I went ahead and I had this for the cheesing of the plays, but why not? If a Packers player wins, why not go ahead and anoint a cheesehead? I guess I was going to be winning it, using it regardless, but Don TMP in the yellow is going to go ahead and walk away with the victory, Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, you were already ready for it. You know, you had the cheesehead in the 2K, but it's like, hey, two Packers teams is going to be using it anyway. But no, Don TMP had a great strategy. You know, he's a seasoned Madden player. You could tell the way he went about it. He had the methodical offense. He did just enough on defense, and the special teams, which is kind of underrated. He made sure
Yeah.
that he was not able to get any kick returns.
Yeah, and the special teams ended up doing its justice because they got a huge turner off of this 21 to 14 game, was giving the ball back. It could have been a tie game after that, but instead we had that strip, a great recovery before it went out of bounds, and that was how they were able to make sure that this lead was there. And also to checking and clocking in on the opponent wanted those big plays. That is what Moody was all about. So if you're going against somebody that wants the big plays, why not play small? And even though you do have the capability with Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and toss that thing around too, it's better to make sure that you put yourself in a winning situation so that you can ensure the victory. And that's exactly what they did, using that smarts, as you said.
Yeah, even used the running back. You know, you didn't see Moody run the ball at all, but Don TMP used the running game to kind of set up the passing game a little bit and also put the game away at the end.
Don TMP unfortunately couldn't get it done on the Xbox side of 2K, but was able to redeem himself right there and able to turn it around and get a Madden victory. Hey, you got two shots at it. 1 for 2 is pretty good. They're going to walk away with $1,000. Moody, of course, with 500. I'm Bordy McBoard. That is Chandler going ahead and talking with me. We are going to be back for some more Madden action, this time the PS5 side. I know you're excited and waiting to see it. Wait shortly as we go to break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. HBCU Gamerfest National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. Board Chandler here. And as we approach the end of our competition, of course, Chandler, we have to refresh where we came from before we start to make sure to close this thing out right.
Yes, as you can see here, the 2K PS5, we had Bread for President picking up the championship win. The Xbox for 2K, we had Prophet picking up his championship win over Don TMP, who switched over to Madden and got his championship win. And now, for the PS5, we got King Lon and we got Goat Harris.
Yeah, that is crazy. Bread, of course, dominating fashion. Prophet getting that profit. Don redemption story. But as we go from King Long to Goat Harris, we have to talk a little bit about another redemption story as we go into what happened during the season. As I said, 7 weeks of action, one playoff. I want you to look towards the bottom of the bracket. One thing to note out, Bread for President, not as good as Madden as they are in 2K, but honestly too, Goat Harris, if you look at that, they were 8th place before the tournament started, and now they were fighting for a grand championship. You know, it's not to say like their opponent didn't start off really, not as fortunate either. Unfortunately, King Long also not up there. 3rd place, yeah, respectable. But to go from 8 all the way to the finals, that's crazy, Chandler.
Yeah, he was 2-5. He played all 7 weeks, but it goes to show you just got to get in. And once you get in, you can make a run all the way to the championship and have the opportunity to get $1,000. And if you don't, you get $500.
Once you're in it, you can win it. And let's see what Goat Harris's journey was in the bracket as well. Let's try to find them right there, towards the top. As you see right there, went against Bread for Prez, went against C-Web, and then went against Freaky Leaky. Shout out to Freaky Leaky, also a veteran too. Killer Can, Dev the Dude. A lot of veterans that we're seeing right here in the PS5 Madden side. But Goat Harris went on a run, and when they did, they ran away with it, getting to the finals against King Long.
Yeah, and you can see on King Long's side, he also made a run. And, even though he was higher up, 5-2, he was tied for 3rd, he still got all the way to the finals. And it goes to show you, even though, you might not have the perfect, regular season play, you got to get in the tournament. And once you get in, it's all about winning every game you can.
Well, will they win every game that they can, starting from the playoffs? We will see King Long from Albany State going against Goat Harris from Norfolk State University. Winner, 1,000. Second place, 500. Still a great consolation prize, but honestly, will Goat Harris have the ultimate consolation of the ultimate underdog, winning it all? We'll see. And honestly, Chandler, I can't believe that we're back and doing this again. We're getting another Green Bay on Green Bay action here.
At least they switched up the uniforms this time. It would have been something to see the same exact uniforms. But like you said, Green Bay. We're gonna see how they can use their strategy to get the difference in this.
Yeah.
Lambeau on Lambeau action.
Yeah, now this time we're actually playing at Lambeau, and just so the audience is aware, if you don't see it on the top, Goat Harris is going with the Packers white, aka yellow, and King Long, as you said, switching up, not the green pants, not the green top and yellow bottoms, but the green top and green bottoms. So that's what King Long is working with. Not exactly the same, as to not confuse you guys too much here, but there's a little bit of adjustments. As we said before, it's good to have players who are fast in Madden, and I think that's what we're going to see right here. Get the fastest players swapped out instead of the best overall players, because that's best overall in Madden speed.
Yeah, especially if you know how to control, like, say, if you're going to play safety, having someone that's very fast and you knowing how to play can erase the overall difference, and it can really make an advantage.
Hey, we saw it on the Xbox side of Madden. The definitive play was the closing speed on that interception that went ahead and closed out the deal. So you want to make sure that you have the speed, because speed kills. As we see right here, now we're getting to our action, a little bit of adjustments going on. We'll see also too if we might have a little bit of the what we saw last time too, getting the audibles right, because you want to make sure your audibles are right, especially in Madden. And not only do you have, your roster audibles as well, but you also have your play audibles as well. So we'll see if we get a little bit of delay of game action to kick off things. Why not,
Right. I mean, just to make sure you got everything set up, because like you just saw, you have no more pauses left. So you're kind of going to have to take the delay game if you want to make sure you got everything right. Just at least, at the beginning part of the game. And you can adjust from there.
Hey, all you know is that more than likely, if you end up getting the delay again, your partner also hasn't set up the audibles either. So that means that they're also going to take a delay game too. But surprisingly, at least for now, let's see how soon they could get this first play going. They get it all fast, so no delay a game. Instead, we are gonna get a first down. So a little bit of a change up right there, just to make sure that you guys know that it's not the same game.
Right. As you can see, we are in Lambeau Field, but that will have an effect on the kicking. And that's probably why we saw last game in a dome. But, we almost got an interception right there.
If I am Goat Harris, I'm also blaming that on the wind as well. Unfortunately, didn't get that one to go down. Second down and 10, already on the 50-yard line. So good play right here early on. 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Play action popping off right now. And look at that, Watson right there getting a job in that corner.
Yeah, he's right in between the cornerback and the safety. Right in that, on the sideline almost, that corner route like you were saying earlier. It's a deadly part in Madden, and you got to make sure you can cover both of those on both sides, really.
Yeah, Madden did a great job in making sure that the safety, I apologize, didn't get burnt right there. Sometimes if you would load up on just vertical routes, the safety AI would get lost, but instead now it's really about causing that tension with the high-low in order to make sure that your safety and your cornerback have to make a decision. Right now, they're making the smart decisions. Again, bottled up a second time. Rodgers nowhere to go.
Yeah, and like we were seeing in the last matchup, it seems like the strategy, of course, using the Packers is to throw the ball as often as you can with Aaron Rodgers. But the way this has been covered so far, you might want to change it up a little bit as you see Aaron Jones being motion out to wide receiver.
Yeah, Aaron Jones on wide receiver didn't do too bad. Got some yardage on the on the cornerback. I apologize, but Tanyan, especially with that play, both squads have been going to it all day, and I meant not only on Green, not only King Long and Goat Harris, but also Moody and Dante and P as well. It's been a reliable play right there.
Yeah, and it's kind of what you're going to be banking on, especially if you're going to be playing any man coverage, especially underneath in the middle. But as you see, it's going to be harder with these formations. It's kind of unbalanced, and it's going to be really difficult to go all the way across and try to guard both sides of the field.
Using a little bit of contain action right there, and that's why throw power, even if you aren't throwing down the field, is still effective. As you see right there, inside cut by the running back, the linebacker was right there, but the throwing power got it in even when it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it was really close to being picked off, and like you said, it's the difference in the arm power is kind of why you want to use Aaron Rodgers. He still has the big arm to get the ball in there very quickly.
As they say, that man has a chooch right there, but chooching it up and getting it in exactly when they needed to in the red zone. And look at that, the contested pass. You have to wait a second to see who got down with it, but at the end of the day, Go Harris got it in, and that is an early lead right there for Go Harris on the first drive. Good job.
Yeah, he didn't make any like big mistakes. Obviously, this first drive, and like we were seeing in the earlier game, he got used most of the quarter, half the quarter, pretty much, to drive down the field, and now we get to see King Long and see how his approach goes.
Yeah, how does King Long respond to this? King Long, some pretty okay stellar defense right here. As you see right now, the first play for King Long is just the fight against the clock with the audible situation. Luckily for them, it doesn't look like they need to go as deep in the bag as we've seen from these other competitors, but we'll see how deep they get in Aaron Rodgers' bag as we go right here, twin set formation. As we see Jones, we're going to see a little bit of running game from King Long. As you see, 6 yards.
Yeah, and it's crazy, to start off the game with the run. But if you see the defense coming out with 3 defensive linemen, you kind of got to take advantage of it.
Oh, absolutely. And they are taking advantage again and again. Aaron Jones, get off of me. That's another first down. A minute left. And this is where we start to see what the strategy is for King Long. Are they slow and methodical, or do they just take what the defense gives them? Right now, they're taking it and they're getting it, and they're giving it to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones right now, 3 consecutive plays, making some yardage happen for this Packer squad.
Yeah, you kind of forget how utilized Aaron Jones could be in the passing game as well as in the running game. But you see there, he's starting to pick up on his tendencies. He's like, oh, he's using Aaron Jones. Let me try to stop that.
Yeah, picking up on the tendency. Square was available. Dobbs right there. Just a little bit, wanted to make sure that it cleared the linebacker. Then also wanted to be safe with it as well. Probably a little bit late with that read. It's okay. 3rd and 7. There is chance for redemption. And Aaron Jones is the go-to guy right now for Green Bay, or at least King Long's Green Bay, I should say.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of hard to stop. It's if you don't have someone who is fast enough to keep up with Aaron Jones out of the backfield and is good at coverage. It's kind of an opportunity for King Long to get back in this game. As you see another run. He's in that formation. He's going to keep running the ball with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and that is a trap play right there out of Twins. I do love trap plays. It's very good. Get a good pull going, and then you have that extra lineman there to really help guide you through the middle. Instead, we're not going through the middle. Tries to cut it on the outside. Finally getting privy to what King Long is doing. This time is ticking right now. Very honestly, kind of inconspicuously. There's nowhere left to go. King Long 2 yards away from the end zone, red zone right here. 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, and you can see Goat Harris is picking up on these crossing routes. He's using the linebacker on these past couple plays, making sure that they don't get, picked. Or, of course, these crossing routes again, you can see he's right there, but it's not enough as you get a touchdown in the end zone from Bo Melton.
Oh my gosh, making it in. Trips left, able to get it into the end zone. And my goodness, the corner is effective. good job right there again, utilizing the big arm of Aaron Rodgers, because that was a tight window throw. In order to get that, you need to have a tight spiral, and that's exactly what we saw on that play. King Long right now getting a touchdown. We're all tied up.
Yeah, and at this point, we've seen 4 different people use the Packers offense, and it's kind of the same strategy. You know, it's the same similar way to attacking, at least passing wise, these crossers, these corner routes. But again, Aaron Rodgers is just too good.
And that's another way that Aaron Rodgers is good. There's no way that that ball should have fit in. And with most other quarterbacks, that would not happen. But that's where speed kills. Not only speed when it comes to the vertical sense, but also with the arm sense as well. Another opportunity to get some yardage here. Second yard into, actually didn't end up completing. So good job right there by the defense. But oh my goodness, didn't get that in completion before, but got that much harder one.
And that was almost a dangerous pass as well. There was a lot of defenders over there, but you see the tip going to the offensive players. You rarely see it, but it worked, and they have a 3rd down and 3 now.
Yeah, someone call Nelly. We got a little bit of tip drill happening right here. Tanya is all excited to get to that party at the tip drill, getting the first down, and they are driving their way to wherever Nelly's at, I guess.
Right. A little far away from St. Louis at Green Bay, but you see Aaron Rodgers airing it out. Christian Watson is just too fast, and that's why you got the audibles and like the switching up the defensive players, because his speed is really the difference so far.
Yeah, Christian said we need to go far. It's okay. I can go far. Got a big play right there. Goat Harris was a little bit methodical. Instead, went for it all, but shouldn't have gone for it right there. Jean Charles, 2 defenders right there. Couldn't get the speed to get to them. That is a pick 6.
And we were talking about these crossing routes, and you see King Lon, he's doing it on offense, so he's going to be looking for it on defense. And he picks the user, Jean Charles, and returned it all the way because he got the speed in the backfield.
Yeah, that's why crossing routes are so dangerous, and we've seen it being tested time and time again. If you do have that faster arm, you can sometimes fit it in, but unfortunately you can only get lucky but so many times before eventually King Long becomes privy to it. That's exactly what we saw here. But Go Harris has another opportunity to tie it up, not too far gone, especially with 2 minutes left to go. If they have a good 2-minute drive, they can really make up for it.
Yeah, but that's the other thing about these slow and methodical approaches. You got to get some big plays like that every once in a while, especially after you get a pick 6. But you see Goat Harris is hurrying up. He's getting everybody. He's using the whole field.
Yeah, using the whole field is going to be important. Why not go back for it after it's working? Cutting on the inside, getting it on the inside. Again, moving down the field. That's what Goat Harris has been doing. More time ticking off that clock, but doesn't have to worry. Plenty of time and timeouts too.
Yeah, you would have loved to get that catch right there, but maybe it kind of worked. Maybe if he caught that, he definitely was going to get tackled inbounds. So you're risking either timeout or time run off the clock. So maybe that worked out for him.
Hey, sometimes you don't necessarily always have the big play, but when you do, great things happen. Unfortunately for Goat Harris, good defense at the last minute, poking that ball out.
Wow, that was almost a touchdown, as you saw. And those, I'm telling you, those breakups, it's like it just annoys you to a certain point because you think you get a big play like that, and now you're back at it again.
Yeah, King Long did a much better job covering that, going to cover two right there. But that fade out has just been working for them time and time again. That cut inside has been so valuable. Twins right now deciding to go with the running play, which I don't necessarily mind, especially when you have all this time. You have the timeouts. You want to make sure King Long doesn't touch it again. I don't forget who gets the ball at
Ooh.
the half, but I do know this, that Lazard and Rogers, that's a great connection. Good job getting that there.
Yeah, that was pretty much like a one-on-one in the back of the end zone, and Lazard is going to win that more often than not.
And that's exactly what they did. Stop early, actually, to make sure that they were there in order to catch that. The defender kept on going, and that's why Lazard, not a lot of contests with that. We're going to go ahead and let that ball roll out, which honestly, not the smartest play up. I might have spoken too soon, or maybe I didn't speak too soon, but honestly, the time is going to tick out anyway. And I forget, Chandler, did King Lon start this off or Goat Harris?
I think King Lon did. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, this end of the half has been an interesting one, I should say, especially with that kick return.
Oh, absolutely. Very interesting. I don't know necessarily in all the great ways. Go Harris received the ball, which means that is King Long that's going to get this ball anyway. So no need to go ahead and do anything too spectacular. King Long gonna receive it after the kickoff, but good job by Goat Harris coming back, especially after the interception, and making sure that they didn't erase their wrongs, but at least made up for their wrongs with that nice touchdown drive.
Yeah, and he definitely needed that after that pick six, especially that King Lon is getting the ball back. And now you see that this kick return actually gets to the kick returner, but it does not go as planned.
Yeah, getting back to the 18 is very, very tough. You want to make sure you at least get it back to the 20 because that's where you're gifted. I believe now actually 25. But as we're starting it off right here, we're getting a run down the middle. The defensive linemen have been doing a great job snuffing out King Long's inside trap runs.
Yeah, but you see, the speed of Christian Watson has been pretty much the difference for both teams. That vertical passing attack has just been deadly.
Yeah, and we're seeing both squads instead of last time both use both methodical senses and also too using vertical senses as well. So we'll see which one gets either gamer the upper hand right now. Aaron Jones going to it. King Long not afraid to go to that running game, but unfortunately, again, gets snuffed out here.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the defense honest. Hasn't really turned out to have any, positive effect so far. Oh, as you get another late breakup on a long pass that was almost a touchdown almost.
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing came out of that bench play. But, one thing about Madden that we normally see is that we normally see players go for it for fourth down and long here. Not even necessarily fourth down and short, fourth down and long. We definitely normally see that because it's not too bad picking up a conversion if you make the right play, the right pass. Right now, we'll see if King Long can get that right pass. Setting the receiver right there to motions, looking like we have a little bit of man coverage happening. And if there is man, that means a man is going to streak down the field and get it.
Wow, what a play. He was getting pressured right as soon as he snapped the ball. And those long streaking patterns, you got to watch out for it. Like you said, the man coverage, he had Romeo Dobbs, and it was pretty much a pitch and catch as soon as the ball was snapped.
Yeah, and excellent seeing that and knowing that the pressure is on you, waiting the perfect time too. And that's another reason why you have Aaron Rodgers, because that he can handle pressure better than a lot of other quarterbacks in the game. Again, interesting job right here with these kick returns, not kicking it to the primary returner, but at least they were able to turn that into a pretty solid return despite the unconventional placement of that.
Yeah, that was almost dangerous for him. If he had one or two more cuts or blocks, that could have been returned. But like you said, it was a good job of at least getting it back to a normal range.
All right. Third quarter, 3 minutes left. King Long up. Goat Harris getting the ball. They had an interception earlier. Right now, dumping it off to Dobbs. What can Dobbs do? Dobbs gets 5.
Yeah, it's kind of, he was the only one that was remotely open on that play, but he just had to get the ball out. But quick little gain. You still got 2nd and 6, and you don't have to go for it all the way all the time.
Not all the way, not all the time. We've been going to Twins almost all the way, almost all the time. And Aaron Jones has been the beneficiary off of that right there. Again, getting down the field and again getting some yardage.
Yeah, we've been kind of seeing the same plays from both players. And, once you're kind of playing against yourself, you know what I mean? It's like you've got the same task, the same strategy, but you got to find something different, just a little different to get the edge. And as you see, another first down by Goat Harris.
First down, ooh, dangerous play, but fitted in. We've seen an interception right there from that breaking inside play, but luckily able to get it past the outstretched arms of the defender. You don't have to stretch out for that one. Watson, no problem right there. Christian getting it done.
Yeah, and we were just talking about it. The same plays. I feel like there's been at least 4 of these touchdowns on that same exact kind of play, and it's been Christian Watson every time.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right.
As we head into, again, the third is almost over. Going into the fourth, I imagine we're probably going to see another set of run plays, as we typically like to see, probably out of Twins. Again, probably going to be a trap play. Again,
Yep.
We'll see. Yeah, yeah.
And it didn't work.
Again. We're going to see how close we are to this fourth quarter right now. Again, that outside breaking, Dobbs getting it right there on the right sideline, getting it again. But, both of these players playing very similarly, and not only when it comes to strategy, some short, some long, but then also to these same formations, these same plays. I guess the only difference is King Long isn't afraid to throw in a little bit of runs every so often. When it comes to playing yourself, Chandler, what do you think it'll come down to, especially as we head into the fourth quarter, to separate these two and to see who actually ends up as the winner?
Well, I mean, at a certain point, you kind of got to recognize that, hey, he's doing the same things I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, okay, the same formation, the same strategy. You kind of start to, have to use her as safety or something. As you see,
supporting Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's just like, now what I'm gonna do. He might know what I'm gonna do, so you got to outthink yourself almost to get an advantage.
It's trust nobody, not even yourself. Remember that meme? That's definitely what it is. King Long getting a trap, especially it's been the same trap on first down that you normally see outside of Twins. Honestly, if that were the case, I would just load up in the middle, stunt a lot to see if you can get something. But Aaron Jones is finally breaking free and on 2nd and 2. Going with a halfback stretch, which we haven't seen a lot of, But we have seen a lot of scores and King Long getting the advantage, at least for now, over Goat Harris.
And you were saying it. He's been using the trap play over and over. So, of course, he's going to try to defend that once he sees he's in a running formation. But like you said, that's why you got to use the run sometimes. It can lull you to sleep. It's like, oh, I'm not expecting an outside run, but there you go.
Hey, variety is the spice of life, and it might just spice up King Long's life by the tune of $1,000. But what does Goat Harris have to say about that? I'll tell you what, Goat Harris will be definitely getting called a goat by me if they're able to pull this off. Again, for you viewers, was 8th in total competition, only a 2-5 record, and has somehow found his way to the grand finals of Madden action. And look at that, a grand shot right there downfield.
Yeah, and it's right down using the same play, except this time he's using that, that tendency to play off of it and go right down the middle in the seam.
Yeah, Tanyan right there. We saw that earlier in the Madden side. I believe it was Moody that was able to get Tanyan streaking around there, especially out of cover 2. But this time it's the other way. Ooh, unfortunately, didn't move as quick as they needed to. Goat Harris was sitting there in the pocket, man coverage, so nobody was there. But unfortunately, they had a wide open green grass, didn't take advantage of it. We'll be going to 3rd and 3 with 2 minutes left to go total in action.
Yeah, and you see, look, there's no one over there. You see the cornerback coming over there late. He could have took advantage of that, but you got to make sure everybody was doing what he wanted, and he gets sacked. That's like the first or second sack. Wow, and it comes at the worst time. As you see, Goat Harris now is going to have to go for it on 4th down. There's only a minute and a half left.
A minute and a half left. Goat can do this, but they need to be goated like they were coming up out of ranks in order to get this one. Not sure why they went to play action, probably because they like this play better. They're going for broke, even though they had a wide streaking player open on the left side. And unfortunately for them, they don't end up getting it.
Yeah, that was a tough break right there. He still had a chance at the end to get it, but again, that's a harder catch you're asking him to make. But now it's going to come down to whether or not he can get the ball back. And it's looking like he hasn't used any timeouts yet, but the timer's running out.
Yeah, you definitely want to use your timeouts here because they could just milk out the clock right here. I think they're trying to give them the first down right now. Now, strangely enough, they're using their timeout, which is just very odd because all they need is exactly 1 yard. And then after that, the game is over, especially with the timeouts. And that's exactly what they get.
Yep, and just like you said, that use of the timeout, maybe if you got another, maybe you used it earlier, it wouldn't be so bad. But either way, getting that first down is really going to be a hard thing to overcome. It looks like he's going to pass anyway, so maybe he get a little break. Oh, he almost intercepted it. But that's going to be it.
I guess live life dangerously, huh? Variety is the spice of life. Why not spice up the last play too? It could have easily been a pick 6, but I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and anoint the Packers cheese head anyway. It was going to happen eventually again, but why not let it fly another time? We are going to walk away with yet another victor, and that victor is not the comeback kid and Goat Harris, although that would have been an awesome story. Instead, it's King Long showing them that they are the king. Not for long. Well, actually, for long, at least another year, I guess.
Right. And, maybe, Goat Harris didn't get the victory, but like you said, that run all the way, it came down to the last minute of the game, and he comes out with $500, so you can't be too mad at that.
Oh no, especially too, not a lot of money during the play, but honestly, it makes up for it there. You're walking away with the second biggest prize pool of the tournament for the PS5 Xbox side, but the biggest tournament will be King Long. I apologize, showing that they are king. Albany State, the unsinkable, and King Long also unsinkable as well, going ahead and walking away with the victory. And again, all it took was that running play, and we talked about the differences between the styles, right? They mostly played the same game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you see in both the Madden games, the difference in both of the games was the running attack, and you wouldn't expect that, but that's what it came down to.
Hey, who said that running doesn't matter in the NFL playoffs? Well, I don't know about NFL playoffs, but at least it makes sense for the Madden playoffs. As we approach close, we have to give thanks to all of the wonderful brackets from all of the night because, of course, we saw a lot of action being played right here from the PS5 side. We saw Prez dominate, Chandler.
Yes, and if you remember that game, it was pretty much throughout from the beginning. It was just a domination using the Suns and getting a lot of dunks, easy layups, easy baskets, and pretty much was never in doubt.
Yeah, bread was all about their bread, and we'll see as we go to the Xbox side on the 2K side, who was all about that cheddar. It was Profit getting the profit with 1,000.
Yeah, and it was a close game up until, the fourth quarter, and you saw Profit kind of run away with it, starting making every shot. But again, it was a lot more competitive than the PS5 side, but never in doubt once the fourth quarter pretty much got underway.
A lot more competitive was an understatement, but Don TMP would not be denied. Unfortunately, unable to get it done in 2K, but they turned it around and got it done in Madden instead with some smart, methodical play.
Right, and you can't forget to mention the special teams. He was able to get the kickoff to the tight end and got the fumble that really pretty much gave him the game, because after that he was able to run out the clock and secure the victory
and ran away with at least one title. But speaking about running away, it was the runaway play that really determined the very even matchup that we would see on the PS5 side, and that would be the victory that we saw from King Long.
Right, and it was another close game right up until the end, and the difference, of course, being that final run on the last drive before Goat Harris had even had a chance to do anything about it.
Yeah, did their job and do it well, and that final run did a number on Goat Harris, who will always be a goat in our hearts for making that run. At the end of the day, only one cheesehead could walk away with the cheddar, or at least the big bag, and that was King Long. Now, talking about walking away, it's going to be a wrap here for the HBCU Gamer National Championship presented by HBCU Alliance. I am Bordy McBoard. Joining alongside me was Chandler. And Chandler, did you have a good time?
Oh, of course. I definitely had a good time. Anytime you get to see some high-level competitive play on both Madden and 2K, you gotta, of course, be ready for anything to happen, especially, 4 people choosing the same team. But regardless, it was still a fun tournament, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to watch and call it.
Oh, absolutely. The 4 players for 4 teams. Oh my gosh, that's something we will always remember. Definitely going to always remember this spectacular season. Bordy McBoard, Chandler, closing out. Have a wonderful day.